Many business owners and professionals are busy with client messages, proposals, meetings, admin, delivery, follow-up, and many other small tasks that fill the day quickly. The day can feel full from the first message in the morning to the last task completed in the evening. But at the end of the day, you can still feel you haven't accomplished what you wanted. You look back and you think, where has the time gone? You finished many tasks, but the business has not really moved forward. And I know this very well from my own experience. You work hard, you answer what needs to be answered, you deal with what needs to be dealt with. But the most important growth work stays at the bottom of the list. Marketing waits, lead follow-up waits, positioning waits, and then another week passes. So the question is not how do I do more, the better question is, am I spending enough time on the work that helps the business grow, or only on the work that keeps it running? And this is where I want to share an important idea from the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and from the habit called Put First Things First. Covey talks about the difference between urgent and important work. This framework is also known as the Eisenhower Matrix. And this matrix is very important for business owners and professionals because it shows where we lose control of our time. The matrix divides your work into 4 quadrants: urgent and important, not urgent but important, urgent but not important, and finally, not urgent and not important. This matrix is powerful because it forces a decision. Not every task deserves your attention. Some tasks need to be done now, some need to be scheduled, some should not be done by you, and some should not be done at all. The first quadrant is urgent and important. This is work that matters and needs attention now because there is a real deadline, consequence, or opportunity. It could be a serious client problem, a delivery, a proposal that must be sent today, a call with a strong potential client. And this is the do it quadrant. These tasks are part of business life. The problem starts when your whole week lives here. If every day feels like a crisis, you are not managing priorities. You are surviving pressure. Now let's have a look at the third quadrant, urgent but not important. This is work that feels immediate but does not deserve your best energy. It may include low-value requests, poor fit inquiries, repeated admin questions, unnecessary meetings, simple tasks that could be handled with a template, or interruptions that make you feel busy but do not move the business forward. And this is the delegate it, systemize it, or reduce it quadrant. In a small business, delegation does not always mean giving the task to an employee. It can mean creating an email template, using a form, outsourcing a task, using a tool, or building a process so the same problem does not keep stealing your time. For example, if you answer the same basic questions every week, maybe you need a better inquiry form or frequently asked questions on your website. If every quote takes too long, maybe you need a clearer qualification process. If you keep joining calls with people who only want the cheapest option, maybe you need better filtering before the call. Now, the fourth quadrant. This is not urgent and not important. This is work that does not support your goals and does not need your attention. It may include doom scrolling, over-researching competitors, commenting online without any strategic purpose, changing tools instead of doing the work, or consuming business content without applying anything. And this is the eliminated quadrant. Of course, rest is important, but distraction pretending to be work is expensive. It gives the feeling of activity without the value of progress. Finally, the second quadrant. Not urgent, but important. This is the work that does not shout for attention today, but creates future growth and prevents future problems. It includes improving your offer, following up with warm leads, creating useful content, building a CRM, asking for testimonials, preparing a case study, reviewing your positioning, or improving your website message. This is the schedule it quadrant. For business growth, this may be the most important one. These tasks may not create pressure today, but they build tomorrow's business. If you keep postponing them, the cost appears later. Unclear positioning, inconsistent inquiries, weaker relationships, fewer warm leads, and too much dependence on whatever happens to come in. This is also where many professionals and business owners can lose momentum. Client work is delivered, quotes are sent, emails are answered, but the work that would make the business clearer, stronger, and easier to choose stays untouched. It's important to remember that not every task fits perfectly into one quadrant forever. Context matters. A networking event can be important if your target clients, partners, or referral contacts will be there. The same event can be a distraction if you already know it will not help your business goals. A client call can be valuable if the client is a good fit, but it can waste energy if the person only wants the cheapest price and does not respect your process. A Facebook group can be useful if it brings insight, referrals, or relationships. It becomes a problem when it turns into arguing, scrolling, or comparing yourself with others. So this matrix is not just a productivity tool, it is a decision tool. It helps you pause and ask, is this task important for the business I want to build? Or does it only feel urgent right now? The most important shift is to protect time for the second quadrant. This is where you work on business before the situation becomes desperate. You follow up before the pipeline is empty. You improve your offer before clients misunderstand your value. You build relationships before you need new leads. Important work becomes urgent when we ignore it for too long. And that is why putting first things first is not about being perfectly organized. It is about protecting the work that prevents future problems and creates future opportunities. So how do you plan better? Daily planning is useful, but if you only plan day by day, the inbox can take control before you even start. By the time you look at your tasks, other people's priorities may already be sitting at the top. Weekly planning gives you a wider view. It allows you to ask what matters this week, which important task must not be pushed out again, and which role in the business needs attention. Every business owner has several roles. You may be responsible for delivery, sales, marketing, finance, operations, and client relationships. If one role takes over everything, usually delivery or admin, growth becomes accidental. Marketing happens only when there is time left. Lead follow-up happens only when revenue feels quiet. Positioning gets reviewed only when inquiries slow down. But that is not a strategy. That is reaction. So the practical change is schedule one important growth task each week before the week fills up. It doesn't need to be huge. It needs to be protected. This connects directly to marketing and sales. I first heard a very useful rule explained clearly at a marketing conference in London. It is a great idea, especially useful for startups, freelancers, small businesses, because capacity is limited. And the rule is the 4 ones rule. One target audience, one offer, one organic platform, and one paid platform. And I like this rule because it helps us put first things first in marketing. It stops us trying to promote every service, speak to every client, post on every platform, and test every channel at the same time. When your attention is spread too thin, your message becomes weaker and your learning becomes slower. The 4 ones rule gives your business a clear direction. It helps you decide who deserves your attention, what you want to become known for, where you will build trust organically, and where you may test paid visibility when the offer is ready. This does not mean you stay narrow forever. It means you choose what deserves your focus now.